Thanks so much. That's such a warm welcome. I can't tell you how much it means to me. Come back here and see the big straight Patriot fans. Thank you. So, it was, I'll tell you, this is hard because for a couple hours, everybody, and rightfully so, everybody has said so many things about Tom, great things about him, and it's just kind of being redundant to go on and on about all the greatness that he's brought to all of us, fans, coaches, everybody's been involved with him. So I'll try to just, shed a couple personal stories and remarks here, but first of all, I'd say it was a tremendous honor and a privilege for me to draft Tom and to coach him for 20 years. And so, as we've heard from so many of his teammates, his pursuit of excellence, his work ethic, the drive, the competitiveness, the unselfishness, everything he brought to the team. It was really an honor for me to be involved with that and to be able to work with him every day and learn from it. So I know that we can talk about a lot of his great plays. I don't know if you have here all night. I mean, this thing would, we could go until the middle of next week. But, just a handful of things. And the guys that just were up there, that 82-yard touchdown to Troy Brown in 2003 to beat Miami in overtime. The 59-yard touchdown in the snow to Deion Branch down the sideline in Chicago. Right here on this field, 5 touchdown passes in the second quarter against Tennessee. 3 to Randy, 1 on a flea flicker, and 2 to Wes in 1 quarter. The seam pass to Rob in Super Bowl 53 to set up the winning touchdown. And we can go on and on. But a couple of the plays that I think about that I remember where Tom was the most excited after the play would be the scramble in Chicago against Urlacher for the first down. The scramble for the touchdown in a Snow Bowl against the Raiders. Where honest to God, when he spiked the ball, I was afraid he was going to separate his shoulder. But I think he was a little surprised at some of those plays, but those were awesome plays. And, to watch Tom run and pick up those key first downs and touchdowns and all that, he loved that. He really did. He loved that. But we talk about all Tom's great plays and go on and on and on. But I'll just say this: the thing about Tom that I think is so impressive, so unbelievably impressive, and what he did for us for 20 years, 19 years that he played for us, is he avoided bad plays. He avoided bad plays, and we have a saying. We have a couple sayings here that I've used with the teams. You can't win until you keep from losing, or more games in the NFL are lost than are won. And you just don't go out there and screw it up. You got a pretty good chance, to win. And with Tom, through his decision making, preparation, the numbers are just historical in terms of fewest turnovers, fewest negative runs, fewest offensive penalties. And so when you eliminate all those plays, and you can stay out of long yardage, and you can keep the ball going forward, and you can keep managing situations, and that makes Tom's excellence on third down and in the red area and in long sustained drives, because there were so very few bad plays, way less than any other team in the league by far. And of all the things that Tom does well, I think the ones that I think it's underappreciated, not by the coaching staff, and certainly not by me, but sometimes people just don't give enough credit for how very few bad plays he had at quarterback as a team. And yeah, hell yeah. And for the quarterback who handles the ball literally on every single play, I mean, other than a direct snap to Kevin Falk or James White, right? But he literally handles the ball on every play. So every play went through Tom, and there were just so few bad runs, sacks, penalties, turnovers, that the team was never really put in very many bad positions. And I think that's one of all Tom's great qualities. That's one of the greatest, is he always protected the team, did the best thing for the team, and kept the team out of bad situations. And that really helps everybody else. Now, the one bad decision that Tom did make, that I personally saw, was not on the football field, it was on the golf course. And Bill Baraki, the CEO of Pebble Beach, invited me to play in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. And so I played with Tom, so we were in foursome together. And we're on the sixth hole. And the sixth hole is a long par 5, down a hill, up the hill. The Pacific Ocean's on the right, it's a big cliff. And so, it's a typical Pebble Beach day, overcast, cloudy, light rain, mist, not typical. And Tom, now again, Pro-Am, keep in mind, you have a pro, so when you hit a bad shot, and I hit a lot of them, you just pick the ball up and play the pros ball. That's what you got a pro for. So you don't worry about double bogeys, you don't worry about triple bogeys, you don't worry about lost balls. It's the pro's job to make a par. So Tom hits the drive, hits the second shot, and the ball's going over to the right, over to the cliff, which goes into the into the Pacific Ocean, and the ball rolls out of sight. So looks like this one rolled into the ocean. And as we walk up there, you don't see the ball. And we get to the edge and look over the cliff, and there's the ball on a ledge over the cliff. And the cliff now is like 250 feet down to the Pacific Ocean, rocks, and the waves are smashing on the rocks. And I look at Tom, and I look at the ocean, and I'm thinking about our starting quarterback, and I'm thinking about our season. And Tom's got that determined, focused, laser-focused Tom Brady look. We all know what that is. And he takes the club and walks down onto this ledge. He's got 1 foot on the side, 1 foot on the grass. It's 250 feet down to the rocks, and pitches it up onto the fairway. And I can see I can see our whole season, just in my eyes there at that moment. And then he needs the caddy to help him launch back up onto the fairway. I mean, he's like down there like 3 or 4 feet. I'm like, Tom, did you think about maybe just like taking an unplayable eye on that one? But Tom's made very few bad decisions. On and off the field. I mean, he was a model for consistency, for dependability, and for always, doing the right thing. It was such a great example, for all of us. So, I had to meet with Tom, at least twice a week. We met a little bit more than that earlier in his career, but twice a week I met with Tom. Those were, some of the best days I had as a coach in my entire career, because I learned so much. I saw the game through his eyes, which, as we all can imagine, is phenomenal. And he taught me so much about how he saw the game. I tried to teach him how I saw the game as a coach, but not as a quarterback. And he taught me how he saw the game as a quarterback, not as a coach. And it was, those were just some of the very best meetings, very best times, honestly, in my coaching career. And yeah, thank you. And through those meetings and the preparation that we had, Tom had, the things that really stood out were how much he cared and how much he prepared. And several of the guys have talked about his preparation. It's really legendary, all week. And those meetings were very challenging for me, because I knew he'd probably seen 10, maybe 15 games of the opponent that we were going to play. And I wanted to make sure that I was as well prepared as he was, and that was honestly a high bar. So, but his caring and his preparation were just exceptional. I can't really put into words like how much he did and how extraordinary it was, from Monday to Sunday after the game, watching film on the way back from the team that we played on away games, to Saturday night meetings, to Sunday morning meetings. His determination and relentless pursuit of excellence was just, beyond anything that, I've seen from, any other player at that position. And I just want to take a second to mention, the coaches that, were most directly involved with Tom. So, Ernie Adams, for 20 years. Josh McDaniels. Charlie Weiss. And the new head coach of the Boston College, Billy O'Brien. And those guys, did such a great job of coaching and working with Tom, and particularly in seeing Tom develop and looking at his skills and trying to tailor the offense to all the things that he did well and did best and that he was most comfortable with. Those guys put in a lot of time and a lot of work to make that happen. And so when we practiced, and it was hard because the offense was good. There was a lot of good players. Talked about a lot of those, the receivers and all that. But the offensive line, which was run by Dante for the majority of that time. Who's also in the Patriots Hall of Fame. Dante's just like all the other offensive linemen. It's a little call holding on him, he's happy. But no, Dante and his guys took really good care of Tom, and the communication that was necessary between the quarterback and the offensive line, to handle the different things that, we saw on a weekly basis was just, exemplary. And the preparation that, that Dante did with his guys, the way his guys protected Brady was exceptional. And then that led to, highly competitive practices. And when you think about the defensive players that work against Tom, and I'm talking about the starters that were out there, and they took a lot of reps against our first team offense and against Brady. So Rodney Harrison, who deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Grable and Brewski, Seymour, Malloy, Ty Law, Talib, McGinnis, Wilford, Sayal. And then, more recently, like Sean McCourty, Nikovich. And last but not least, Hightower. So without Hightower, I don't know how close those Super Bowls would have turned out. All right. I can tell you as a coach who spent most of his career on defense, the number of times that I walked off the field with our other defensive coaches, and we looked at each other and we were kind of shaking our heads a little bit like, are we that bad on defense? Like, we cannot stop these guys. Like, are we that bad? And then you realize over time how good Tom and the offensive unit was and how competitive it was. And we can argue back and forth about who got the better of who in practice, the offense and defense. But I can tell you those practice squad players and some of the scout team players, they competed so hard to break up a pass from Tom Brady and intercept a pass from Tom Brady. And it made everybody better. And it made everybody better. So I just want to take a second to say that Tom's competitiveness brought the defensive competitiveness made Tom better. Tom made the defense better. The scout team made the offense better. And the competitive practices that we had, and I'll just, they're always indelibly etched in my mind, is one of the big reasons why those 6 banners are flying up there. So, in conclusion, just Tom, I want to say thanks on behalf of all the players, all the coaches, all the staff, all the people, hundreds of people that are here, and the thousands of fans that are here. Thank you, and thank you for all that you've done for us. Thank you for all you've done for me, and thank you for the example and model that you've been for all of us on a daily basis for 20 years. You're unbelievable.